Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Brittany Marie, and tonight I want to talk with you guys about fear. Fear in transitions, changes in life, and really just showing up for ourselves. Like if you've ever felt like you're in a transition or you want to transition and you have these goals, you have these visions, you feel the energy in your body so deeply. Like you know that you're meant for something just so profound, so different, so deep, but you just don't know where to begin, right? You have your vision board and you have the vision, you have the end goals, but it's like, well, how do I get from here to there? And fears start to come up, self-sabotage, distractions. Oh, distractions love this environment. Distractions thrive off of this environment. So if this speaks to anybody, listen up. This morning, I had an experience where I was incredibly fearful to enter into one of my sessions because I was working with a condition that I've never worked with before. And I'm still new to the practice, and of course I just wanted it to be a great experience for the client, and they got what they needed out of the session. And I was up all night long. I was in my head, right? That chatter brain, that overthinking, the sabotage came up, just about all of it, all the wonderful things that come with fear and overthinking, right? And in showing up today, I kind of felt a little blank. Like I felt void in a way, and I was just like, okay, all I can do is be present, literally all I can do is just show up and be present, and whatever comes through, I have to trust. And it turned out to be one of the best experiences that I've had in my life. Just the simple act of showing up and being present was incredibly, people talk about it, and then when you have those moments where you just feel so fearful, you feel a little defeated, you feel like, I don't know how this is gonna go, and you just stay present, and you work off of your intuition, and you allow that intention of the highest good to flow through you for the client, for the session, for the experience, for yourself, and just allow it to be there. And it really made me think about life in a different way and taking action, and sometimes feeling defeated, like when we just feel like we don't know how to get from where we are to where we want to go, where it just feels like it's so far away, or it just feels like there's no way, right? We will always have these thoughts in our mind, no matter what. We will always, and if we don't have them in our mind, we'll find them, right? Because there's so many people out in the world that can represent these thoughts of, it can't be done, what are you thinking? That's for everyone else, not you, right? Especially these thoughts that we have in our mind. Knowing that they're there to keep us safe, right? Because it's the subconscious and the ego. It was in place, it was learned, it was developed and programmed to keep us safe. And it doesn't necessarily serve us in our goals and the highest, right? All the time. And there's so many angles that can be taken on this topic, and just a couple things that really stood out to me today, that I realized that I've really allowed to be present with me on my journey, is the practice of breath and the practice of one step at a time, and valuing taking action. And the topic of taking action, even just a couple of months ago, was just so terrifying to me. And I realized today, actually, I was in a training, and I want to do another video on this because it was just so profound, but it's the concept of, you know, like affirmations that we tell ourselves. I am enough, or I am funny, you know, descriptive words like adjectives. I think that's an adjective. Anyway, whatever. I'm funny. I'm creative. I am abundant, right? And then we were told to reframe, like, what if we crossed that out and said, okay, what's the verb that goes with that? So, I am funny. The verb would be, I find joy and laughter in the world around me. Or, I am thoughtful. I'm self-aware, and I think about how my actions affect other people. And that really brought my awareness into these labels that we put on ourselves and our identities. And really, what is that action step? You know, like sometimes when we just feel so low, or we weren't necessarily like demonstrated a whole lot of like, okay, what are the action steps? What does it mean to like continue to like keep going towards your goal? And feeling defeated, like how do we get through these feelings of defeat? It's like we have to relearn sometimes, and that comes from taking a little bit longer and getting back up when you fall. And it's the little wins, like tiny little celebrations every day. Like, oh, okay, I recognized earlier today that I was like super excited. I felt so motivated, guys. Like I felt so motivated earlier, and I had my vision, like it just was like flowing through my veins. The energy of like transformation, shifting, like I got this. I had boom, 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 all these things that I was going to do to get there. And then I had a thought in my head, and it was like, you should go eat something. Even though I was not hungry at all, my body was not hungry. So I grabbed a snack, and I was like, okay, whatever. I was mindless because I was just so in the flow of everything. And then that turned into, oh, you need to eat more. You need like a whole meal. And then I was binging before I know it. And then I was like so distracted, and I was like, oh my gosh. Even when I'm in the flow of things, guys, there's something like a block in there that's like, we are going to distract ourselves so that way we don't accomplish this right now. Even in that, right? It's like taking those moments to be like, oh, okay, see what's going on. Now I'm going to take a moment, regroup myself, pattern interrupt, go for a walk, do jumping jacks, maybe listen to a song and dance around. Sit with yourself and like allow the chatter to happen. If there's like something that is in there that's like just needs to come up and out, allow that energy to move somehow. And then what is like the biggest next step is to just check in with yourself and be like, okay, what is the next step? What is an action step that I can do right here, right now, that can get me closer to my goal, that is supportive to my goal, that I can feel as if I'm moving in that direction because I am taking action towards achieving what I want to achieve. And it's a practice. Like, it is literally a practice every moment of every day. And changing our daily thoughts, our daily habits. And it's the little tiny things, right? And it's so easy to get defeated and give up because we tell ourselves, and I've done this so many times, okay, I'm going to change my morning routine. I'm going to do these 5 things every single morning. And if I don't, that perfectionist comes out. If I don't, then I'm a failure. Even though logically it's like, oh, I'm not a failure. But then internally it's like, you failed. And then you give up completely. And I would challenge you to bring in more of the art of allowing. And just be present with yourself. What comes up, like, oh, I feel like a failure right now. Is this true? What is it that I'm feeling right now? If it's a failure, okay, thank you so much for showing up, failure. I appreciate you. Is there anything you need to share with me? Okay, thank you. That's really interesting. And what can I do? What's the next step that I can move myself in the direction, right? I think we forget as human beings that, you know, if you come from kind of this all or nothing thinking, which a lot of us on the planet do, right? It's a byproduct of, you know, different states, different learned behavior and understandings of ourselves. And when we come from a place of all or nothing, it's hard to allow ourselves to see the gray. And it's hard to allow ourselves to see, okay, what am I doing that is working for myself? So, what is the next step? What can I do in this moment? I acknowledge that I'm feeling a certain way. That's okay. But we are complex individuals, right? It's okay to feel frustrated and know that I deeply love, right? It's okay to be both. It's okay to feel defeated and continue taking steps towards our goals. It's okay to be both. So bringing in that safety and that awareness into your body, taking a deep breath, pattern interrupting, moving, spin in circles, right? Dance around like a wild woman or man and just have a really great time. Laugh, watch some comedy for a couple of minutes just to get your mind a little bit distracted in a different area so that way you can think more clearly. Okay, I seen that I got off course. Now let's do a course correction. Let's celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. When we want to achieve our goals, it's little steps at a time. The momentum. Little steps every single day. Not that it has to be the same routine every day, right? It doesn't have to be the same thing every day. If that's what works for you, that's great. And that doesn't work for everybody. Find what works for you. But recognizing the small wins. When you recognize that you fell off and you are bringing yourself back on, that is a win. It's the little things. I love this quote, small hinges swing big doors. And I always think about that. It's that one and presence over perfection. And yeah, it really has helped me a lot today just to kind of refocus and regroup. What is it that I'm actually working towards? What is it that I'm choosing to spend my days focusing on? What is it that does distract me? What are my behaviors of distraction? So that way I can recognize them more easily because I don't anticipate on them going away right away, right? So it's like, okay, how can I work with where I'm at right now to just make myself more aware and better in each moment? So I hope you guys gained something out of this video. And if you feel so inclined and moved to test a few of these out, take a deep breath when you notice yourself completely distracted or overthinking or just in a state of, I don't know what to do next. Take a deep breath, move around, stand up, go for a walk, do push-ups, do jumping jacks, dance around a little bit, literally for 1 minute, not even. And then ask yourself, okay, how can I get back on track? What is my next step? I don't need to know what the next 2 or 3 steps are. What is my next step? So that way I can accomplish X, Y, and Z that I want to accomplish to move forward with. And then make it actionable. Like, do an action. We want to work towards our goals through taking action. And work doesn't necessarily have to be hard. It doesn't have to be laborious and demanding, but taking action shows the universe what it is that you want moving forward, right? It's that momentum energy. So even taking one action, and that could be as simple as, if you're not in a position to do or in a state to do the action specifically, setting a timer for when you are, to remind yourself, going and packing your gym bag, taking just a couple of minutes, going and journaling a few things that you want to make a video about, so a few topics, taking 30 minutes out of your day to rough draft a book that you want to write. It could be literally anything that you choose to do. Just take an action step towards doing it. So take a deep breath, pattern interrupt. Really check in with yourself. What is my next step? Just my next step. And take action towards it. And know that you are not alone, that it's really difficult sometimes to get out of it, and that's okay. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are doing it, and I can't wait to see you accomplishing your goals. I love you, and I will chat with you guys soon. Bye.